So now the class is about to start. I'll just go ahead with the class. If anyone is having other doubts and all, we'll see it later. Okay. So can you see the AutoCAD window?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I hope you are already aware of the primary commands. So this window that we see here is called GUI. You can take notes if you want. Fine. So GUI, what is GUI?
General user interface.
No.
User interface.
Yeah, graphical user interface. So it was introduced for the first time by Mac, Apple. We all know Steve Jobs, right? iPhone and all. So Mac operating system was the first to introduce GUI, graphical user interface. Before GUI, we all used to work with command line. We had to remember various commands, and only when we gave the right command, the system would perform that activity. That was how we used to operate the systems. But when the graphical user interface came up, we had icons of different commands placed on the screen, and we could use a pointing device. What is the pointing device we are using?
Mouse.
Yeah, we are using a mouse. So we could use a pointing device like mouse to move a pointer on the screen and click whichever command we wanted, right? So it was a revolutionary step forward for computing. Anyway, so AutoCAD also started with the commands. So that is why you can see the command line is also present here. So the command line which was introduced with the first version of AutoCAD, the Autodesk has continued to still use it because many users have got used to the command line method of drawing, of drafting, and it didn't want to disappoint those users also. So it has continued to keep the command line. So this here is the command line. All these are the ribbons. So what you can see here at the top, they're called ribbons. So in each ribbon, we have different set of commands. So under the home ribbon, you can see line, polyline, circle. The draw commands are grouped here. If you click here at the bottom, you will get some more commands. Then we have the modify group. Here all the modify commands are listed. If you click here, some more modify commands you will get. Same way you have text, you have layers, you have properties, and so on. If you go to insert, there are various commands available for inserting some other external objects into our drawing. Then annotate has all the commands for dimensioning listed over here. So whenever you want to do dimensioning, you can go to annotate. Parametric is where we can constrain our geometry. Fine. So these parametric options were not present in the AutoCAD traditionally. They just started adding these options around 2012 or 14. I'm not sure exactly when they started, but these parametric options are very recent of origin. In the older versions of AutoCAD, we cannot find these options. But again, even in the latest version, these options are not well perfect. Fine. So still many of the engineers, they don't rely on parametric options of AutoCAD. They just go with the traditional method of drawing. There are other options. View option we will use for 3D objects. When we want to change the view of our object, front to top, top to front, and so on. We may not be using these much. And the other options also we will not be using much. Mostly we'll be using the home options, draw and modify commands. Fine. So let me go ahead and open your user manual. I hope everyone has access to the user manual.
No, sir.
The shortcut to the user manual I have placed again on the Teams, and I will also share it on your WhatsApp if it is not visible to some of you. Okay. So yeah. So after the class, I'll share the link to this on your WhatsApp also. No need to worry. Okay. So yesterday we talked about the syllabus, right? And I had told that your syllabus is basically divided into two halves. First half is machine drawing using AutoCAD, wherein you'll be learning some of the conventions, and then the other half is for SolidWorks. So today we will learn about some of these conventions. So I had already talked about the sheets. I'll just revise it once again. So A4 sheet is your Xerox sheet size, and these dimensions you should remember. Fine. So I may be conducting a small quiz in which I'll be asking one question with 4 options, and time limit will be placed. You all have to answer that quiz, and these marks will go into your assignments. Okay. And there are some elongated sizes. Elongated sizes means A3 sheets. If it is multiplied 3 times, these are the dimensions we get. Fine. So initially we actually had, these are the options, right? So 420 by 891. So A3 into 3 means we are using a 4 by 4 combination of these. And same way for the others. But we generally mostly use these sizes. These are the standard sizes. So whenever you go for taking a print of AutoCAD, let's say I'm giving a print command. Print command is Control P. When we give the print command, so these sizes are available here. They may be distributed here. So A4, A3, A5, you can see most of these options are here. A2, fine. So these are the sheet sizes in which the standard papers are available. So we can take the print of whatever diagram we make on that sheet. So, so these two are clear, I hope. So command line is clear, and the ribbons are clear. Next, at the bottommost, we have something called the status bar. So this complete line at the bottom that you see here, it is called the status bar. So status bar has various helpful options available in it. On the leftmost, you can see the coordinates are there. So when I'm moving the cursor on the screen, you can see the coordinates are changing. So this is where the coordinates are there. So the coordinates are changing when I'm moving the cursor on the screen. Then just above this status bar, we have 3 options here. One is the model space. The model space usually has a black background. This is to give rest to your eyes. If the monitor screen is too bright, you cannot stare at it for long periods of time. That is the reason a black background has been placed on it. And all your diagrams you need to draw here itself. Right. Whatever diagrams you want to draw, you can draw it here. You can either take the commands from here, you can take the commands from the menu, or you can just give it from the command line. Fine. So hopefully you have learned the basic shortcuts when you studied engineering graphics. If you are not perfect, I'll provide you with a set of notes which mentions almost all the draw and modify commands, and also the shortcuts meant for them. So if you remember the shortcuts, the advantage is that the keys on the keyboard are not actually moving, right? Whereas the interface, from time to time, it changes. So the older version of AutoCAD, it was very different from what you can see right now. So the new system, it follows the ribbon method of display, but the older classic method, it used to be very different. Okay, I think in this version, the classic view has been totally removed. So I cannot change back to the classic view even if I want. For some time, they allowed changing between classic and the modern look, but now it seems they have totally shifted to the modern one. So that's what is the advantage of having the keyboard. Fine. So if you are a little bit perfect with the keyboard commands, you can just type the command and start using it, no matter which of the ribbon is on. You don't have to search for where the command is, and you don't have any confusion with it. So it's always better to have at least a few basic commands that we most often use, The shortcuts for those at least you should remember. So then the second option after model space, we have something called layout. So layout is where you can exactly see how your printed copy will appear. Fine. So in the layouts, if you right click on the layout space at the bottom, go to page setup manager. Here you can not only choose what kind of printer you are using, you can use PDF if you're not having a printer. Some noise is coming, please mute yourself. Please, sir. Sir, please mute everyone. Okay, so let's proceed. So you can not only choose the printer. If you have installed a printer, you can choose the printer. If you don't have a printer, you can save it as a PDF. Fine, DWG to PDF. What this will do is, it will save your diagram to a PDF, and this PDF can be taken anywhere in any Xerox center. And almost every person has Adobe Reader installed on their system. So even if that person is not having AutoCAD, you can get your drawings printed. Fine. And here you can choose the paper size. So you can see here A4 size has been chosen here. If you want a bigger size, double of A4 if you want, you can go for A3 size. And accordingly, the same will be displayed here. So initially you can see it was set to A4 in the beginning, but now it has been changed to A3. So A3 size is a bit double. That's why you can see larger area present. So when I move this sheet, you can see the total sheet is moving. Fine. Now, what if I want to fix this diagram to cover the full sheet? Or what if I want a particular scale to be acting over here? What I have to do is, I have to go here, bottom in the status bar, I can see paper is there. So right now I'm in the paper space. That's why I'm able to move the paper around. Fine. If I change this, what happens? Now I'm getting model space. So now if I move this, what is happening? I can move the objects within the paper. Fine. So I can zoom in, zoom out, and choose a view which is suitable. Zoom command is Z enter. I can choose zoom and choose extends from here. What this will do is, it will just fit all our diagrams that we have drawn so that it fits within the boundaries. Then I can go back here, click on the model. It will again become paper. Fine. So now I can again move the paper around. So if I want the scale to be 1:1, that means if I have drawn 10 mm in my diagram, when I take a print, also I want 10 mm to appear on the printed paper. In that case, what you have to do is, you should go to the model space, and here you have to choose zoom command. Zoom command, I told the shortcut is Z, enter. And then we have an option here called scale. We have an option here called scale. In the scale, there are two options, NX or NXP. So this is actually not X, that is into. So when we say NX, it is actually N times. And this is N times P. Fine. So if I want 1:1 ratio, what I have to do is, I have to type 1x and press enter. Fine. Now what has happened is, okay. So actually you have to choose not 1x, you have to type 1xp. 1xp. So what this does is, it will choose a size such that when we take a print, whatever is the actual dimension, the same dimension will appear in the print also. Fine. So this is 1:1. But when I take 1:1, you can see my diagram is not fitting completely into this. So I can just reduce the size. So I can choose 0.5 xp. So what it will do is, all my dimensions will be half of the actual size. So like this, if you want a particular scale to be used, you can use the zoom command. In the zoom command, scale factor you can use. If you put XP after the scale factor, the same will be applied on your data. And once the layout is set, you can easily take the printout of this. Fine. Whereas some people try to give the print directly from model space. The disadvantage there is you cannot set the scale over there, and you are not even sure in which part of your sheet what diagram of yours will appear. Fine. So these are some of the problems, and if you want to avoid these problems, you can set up the layouts. You can add any number of layouts. You can see 2 layouts have been already set here. A different layout will be of different paper size also. So depending on how big your diagram is and what your availability of papers are, you can set n number of layouts. Fine. So this is how you can set the layouts. And about using the command, I already told you can take the command from here, and you can give the command from keyboard also. Some of the basic commands you must remember. And the fastest method of giving a command, if you want to repeat the same command again and again, the fastest method is to go for repeat the previous command option. So repeating previous command is very easy in AutoCAD. Suppose I have taken a circle, drawn it. Yes, someone has unmuted themselves. Any doubt? I request the student to mute yourself.
Yes, sir.
Hear some sound going on in the background. Okay. Every time I have to go there and mute you. So that's why I'm requesting everyone to keep yourself muted. Fine. So I was talking about repeating the previous command. I have drawn circle command over here. So if I want to take the circle command once again, no need to go back here and take it. I can just right click anywhere on the screen, and that previous command will be available right here near the cursor. I can right click anywhere I can right click, and the previous command will be visible here. If you want to take the commands before that, you can go just below that, and you can see all the commands that I had given. Since I opened the file, they are all available over here. Fine. So this is one short method to get the previous command. There is much better option as well from the keyboard. If you just press the space bar, it will automatically activate the previous command. So I'm done taking the circle. Now you can see there is no command active. If I just press space bar now, again the circle command will be active. So I can very fast draw a number of circles. Fine. So I just keep pressing enter after drawing each circle, and I can draw a number of circles very rapidly using this previous command option. And now just the last things I'll be talking about are the drawing aids, and this is where we will stop. And after the class is over, I will create a multiple choice quiz in which whatever I explained in this particular class, there will be some questions on that. You all have to answer it. Okay. So those who are unable to see that, of course, you can contact me personally on the WhatsApp, and I'll try to resolve your problem. And so coming to the drawing aids, there are some basic options which will help you in drawing. That's why they are called aids. Aid means help, and drawing aid means the options which help you in drawing. Fine. So there are some options here. I'll just start with the basic ones. In the beginning, okay. So in the beginning, you see there is a grid option. So grid option, what it does is it will put a graph in the background. So can you see the graph? It's not clear.
No, sir, no.
Yeah. So if you zoom in, even if you zoom in, I'm trying to zoom in my mobile and still the graph is not visible. But when you use AutoCAD, be assured there will be a graph, very light graph, which will be displayed at the backdrop of your objects. And you can use that graph as a reference point to ensure how far away from the origin you are drawing an object. Or relative positioning also you can keep it. You can vary it. Okay. So that is grid. Next is snap. Now snap is also a very handy tool, especially when you want to draw dimensions that are multiples of a chosen value. Suppose all your dimensions are multiples of 10. You don't have any value like 25 or 26 or something like that. Then you can use the snap option. When the snap option is on, and when you're drawing a line or something, you can see my plotter is jumping from point to point. Fine. It is jumping from point to point. It is unable to come anywhere in the middle. Fine. It is jumping from point to point. Whereas if I turn it off, and now you see my cursor is able to move smoothly. Anywhere my cursor is able to move. When the snap is on, technically what happens is my cursor will jump from one point to the next point by required multiple. If you go to the settings, you can set that multiple. Right now you can see the multiple spacing is 10. It will either go to 10 or 20 or 30 or 40. All the coordinates will be multiples of 10. So if your geometry is having all the dimensions as multiples of a particular number, you can set that same number in the settings and very rapidly draw that object. Very easily you can draw that object. But in most of the engineering problems, that is not the case, and hence we will not be using it much. Let's go to the next option, which is very important, ortho and polar. You might already be knowing what ortho means. Ortho means perpendicular, 90 degrees. So when I draw a line or something here, you can see I'm able to draw the line at any angle. Randomly, I'm able to click at whatever angle I want. But suppose you want lines only to be horizontal or vertical. Fine, I can just click on undo. If you want lines to be horizontal or vertical, you can keep the ortho on. You can also see the option here to turn it on and off. It is mentioned in the comment that is appearing here in yellow. What you have to do is you have to press F8. The F8 function key will turn the ortho on and off. Now this is on, it is coming horizontal or vertical only. And if I press F8, now I'm able to move anywhere. Fine. Again, if I press F8, now it is horizontal or vertical only. Fine. So like this, if your lines are only horizontal or vertical, you can keep ortho on and start drawing. But if you want only few particular angles, again multiple of a few chosen angles, then you can go for polar option. So in polar option, you can of course draw at any angle randomly also, but a few of the angles will be highlighted. Right now 0 degrees is highlighted. Now if I move away from 0 degrees, you can see the highlight is turned off. Now the angle is random. If I still move further, at some point it will again highlight. So 15 degrees being highlighted. So that is happening because here in the options I have chosen as 15 degrees. So all the multiples of 15 degrees will be highlighted. If I want some other angle like 45, I can choose the 45. Now 30 degrees will not be highlighted. The next angle highlighted will be directly 45, and next 90, and so on. So ortho and polar options, I hope they're clear to you. The next very important option is object snap. I'll just explain the importance of object snap. You can see this option here is the object snap. Okay, so this option here is called object snap. So when the object snap is off, what will happen? I'll tell you. Now suppose you want the line to start exactly at this point. Fine, exactly you want the line to start at this point. You can see I've chosen this point very, very carefully. and I've drawn it. But is it exact? Let us try to zoom in and check. You can see there is some error over here. When I zoom in and check, in spite of me being very, very careful, there is this problem. It was not accurately chosen. So this is what happens with the engineering drawings. You want your drawings to be accurate so that at any point of time you can take measurements between any 2 points, and those measurements have to be exact. So if you want this exactness to be maintained, you should turn on the snap option. Object snap option should be turned on. And when this option is on, and when you draw this, now you can see this option, I have kept it on. And the shortcut for this is F3. You can turn it on or off by using F3 option, F3 function key. Now, if I click anywhere, now you can see I'm clicking far, far away from that corner. And still, my diagram will start exactly at that corner. Let me just show you by zooming in also. You can zoom into any extent, and it will remain exactly starting at that point. Fine. So this is the advantage of using object snap. Now there are various options in object snap. You can see these are the options. You can have the endpoint, midpoint, circle, center, geometric center of particular objects like a rectangle or a block. Then there is node, quadrant. A circle has 4 quadrants. You have intersection point. You have extensions of the line, which also you can choose. Then there is insertion point of blocks. We will discuss more about blocks in the coming classes. Then there is perpendicularity option, that tangent option to the circle. Nearest option, you can see that nearest option has been turned off. If that is on, when I'm drawing any point on the line, I will be able to select. But if this option is off, then only the endpoint, midpoint, or the other options which have been chosen here, only those will be displayed. So according to your convention, you can turn them on or off. Whichever point you want, you can turn it on. Whichever you don't want, you can turn it off. You can also have parallel lines. For drawing parallel lines, what you have to do is, when you start drawing a line, you have to keep your cursor resting at a line of your choice for some time. After that, you have to move away and try to draw line parallel to it. Now you can see the parallel line has been highlighted, and it is also displaying in a short rectangle just besides my plotter that indeed the line is parallel to this particular line. Okay. So these are the object snap options. So these settings will be very, very helpful to us when we are drawing. And the other options are also there. Let me just briefly go with dynamic option. This is where we will stop. This will be the last option we will see for today. So dynamic option, what it does is, it displays the length and angle on the screen itself. I can see the length has been displayed. It is moving dynamically as I'm moving the cursor. And also the angle is also displayed. The angle is also changing as I move the cursor on the screen. Fine. So I can press tab button on the keyboard to shift between length and angle. So I'm pressing tab now, and you can see it is changing between the length and angle. So suppose I want a length of 100. I have to press 100. Then I want to set the angle. To set the angle, I have to change to angle. So I have to press tab once again. So now you can see the length has got locked. The length has got locked. Angle is varying. The angle, whatever I want, I can give it. Even decimal values of angle also are possible here. Whereas in the polar settings, only multiples of a few selected angles are possible. You can of course select any angle, but only multiples of that will be available to you. Whereas here, I can choose whatever angle I want. Fine. I can even choose an angle like this, like 41.248 degrees. Fine. So all the accuracy that you want in the angles, it will be followed. Fine. So that is about the dynamic input. So I hope you have understood this. When you're drawing the circle, the options for the circle will appear. Now you can see here that radius option is appearing here. Fine. And also there is a small rectangle moving with my cursor, and it is telling specify radius of the circle or. Now, why is it mentioning or? Or it is mentioning because there are some other options which you can use for drawing the circle. If you want to use those options, you can use this command line. The options will be visible in the command line, or you can just press down arrow. You can just press the down arrow and the same options will appear just below the cursor. This is again one of the short methods of avoiding wasting time in moving your cursor to particular points in the screen. Fine. You can just press the down arrow when this dynamic input option is on, and you will get all the options right here. So we will stop this class over here. Just to give you a rewind, what we learned in today's class was we learned about the graphical user interface. This is the graphical user interface of class. We have the ribbon, and each ribbon has different groups of commands listed within them. At the bottommost, we have something called status bar, and status bar has drawing aids available to us. Drawing aids, of course, they help us while drawing. We learned about a few of the commonly used drawing aids like the grids, snap, object snap, ortho, polar. Then we learned about the difference between model space, layout space, how to choose the paper size and set our drawing based on the scale on our paper. And that's about it. This is the summary of whatever we learned in the today's class. So based on whatever I explained in today's class, I will make a few questions. About 5 questions I will make, and the questions will be attached in the comments section of this very recording. When I end this meeting, the recording of this meeting will be available in the Teams. I'll just show you where that will be available. You should go to Teams, and you should go to this channel, the machine drawing channel. And this is the today's class. You can see it is going on. Around 56 minutes are over. I had joined a bit early just to make sure nobody is facing any problem. And it is being recorded now. A recording of this will also get attached here at the end of the comments section. And I will, when I create the 5 questions to get a feedback from you, I will attach that form as well as a reply to the same thread. And if you want to check out today's class, once again, you can of course play the video and check it out. And you should be able to answer all the questions that I post by afternoon today. So I guess today's class time is over. So you can leave. You can now leave this room and join the next one. Let me take attendance. Yeah, to stop sharing the screen first. Okay, the attendance has been downloaded. You can all leave this class. I will stop this room. And you don't have to join back into the same room. Join the next class, whichever is the next class, join over there. Thank you.
Okay.
Unmute yourself.
Excuse me, sir. Excuse me, sir. Excuse me, sir.